You've done it when you thought nobody was watching. In the kitchen, waiting for the kettle. In the car at a red light, when a song came on that you didn't expect. In your room, alone, in the middle of an ordinary afternoon, for no reason you could explain if someone asked. You danced. And if someone had walked in, you would have stopped immediately. You might have felt embarrassed. You might have laughed it off, or pretended you were stretching, or suddenly become very interested in something on the other side of the room. Because dancing alone, dancing for no reason, dancing when nobody asked you to, it feels like something you're not supposed to do past a certain age, something unsophisticated, something that needs an excuse, a wedding, a concert, a reason. But you did it anyway. Because something in you needed to. Here's what's strange about that. Every civilization in recorded human history has danced, every single one. Stone Age cave paintings, some of the oldest images of human beings in existence, carved and drawn by people who lived 40,000 years ago, show people dancing, in groups, in lines, with their arms raised. Ancient Egypt danced at funerals and at harvests, treating both as occasions that required collective movement. Ancient Greece danced before battle and after victory. The Aztecs danced, the Inuit danced. Indigenous cultures on every continent, separated by thousands of miles of ocean and thousands of years of history, independently developed complex, codified movement traditions that archaeologists and anthropologists classify as dance. There has never been a human society that didn't dance. Not one. In the entire span of human existence on this planet. Which means this isn't culture. Culture varies. Culture disappears. Culture is lost when civilizations fall and languages die. But dancing has survived every collapse, every migration, every extinction event in human history. It crossed land bridges. It survived ice ages. It outlasted the empires that practiced it. Which means evolution put it there. And the reason why, the real reason, the evolutionary reason, is something that changes how you think about every group of people you've ever been part of. Data realm. Let's start with what makes this genuinely puzzling. From a pure evolutionary standpoint, dance makes no sense. It burns significant calories. It serves no obvious survival function. It doesn't help you find food, build shelter, avoid predators, or reproduce. If anything, it draws attention to you, which in a world of large predators was exactly what you didn't want to do. And yet here it is, in every culture, at every point in history, persistent across hundreds of thousands of years of human existence, surviving conditions that wiped out countless other behaviors and traditions. Evolution doesn't keep things that don't work, not for this long, not this universally. So what was it doing? The first clue comes from a 2009 study by psychologist Scott Wiltermuth at the University of Southern California. Wiltermuth and his colleagues asked groups of strangers to complete tasks together, some in synchrony, moving in the same rhythm, and some not. Then they measured the group's levels of cooperation, trust, and willingness to help each other in subsequent tasks. The synchronized groups were dramatically more cooperative. They trusted each other more. They were more willing to make personal sacrifices for other members of the group. And crucially, this happened after only a few minutes of synchronized movement, with complete strangers. Without any conversation, any shared history, any reason to trust each other at all. Moving together, at the same time, in the same rhythm, changed how people's brains categorized each other. In neuroscience terms, synchrony activates a process called self-other overlap. The brain begins to represent the synchronized other as partially continuous with the self. Their welfare starts to register in the same neural circuits as your own. In evolutionary terms, this is extraordinarily useful. Your ancestors lived in groups of 30 to 150 people. Their survival depended on those groups functioning as a unit, coordinating hunts, defending territory, sharing resources during scarcity. The primary obstacle to group cohesion was that the human brain is fundamentally self-interested. Getting a group of self-interested individuals to act as a unit, reliably, under pressure, without years of trust building, was one of the central problems of ancient human life. Dance solved it in minutes. But synchrony alone doesn't explain everything. Because humans don't just move together when they dance, they move together to music. And music, specifically rhythm, does something to the human brain that no other stimulus does. In 2014, neuroscientist Anirudh Patel at Tufts University published research showing that humans are one of the only species on Earth capable of synchronizing movement to an external beat, what scientists call beat induction. Most animals can't do it. Even other primates, with their sophisticated social structures, cannot reliably synchronize movement to a rhythm they didn't initiate themselves. Humans do it automatically, involuntarily. A beat starts, and the body starts moving toward it before you consciously decide to. Your foot taps. Your head nods. Your fingers drum. You don't choose this. It happens beneath the level of decision. Why would evolution build this in? Because rhythm is a group coordination signal that doesn't require language. Before complex language existed, before your ancestors could communicate plans, intentions, or agreements in words, rhythm was a way to say, we are together, we are moving as one, we are not a collection of individuals right now, we are a unit. The groups that could synchronize, that could align their nervous systems through shared movement, were more cohesive, more cooperative, and more effective under pressure than the groups that couldn't. They hunted better, they defended better, they survived winters better. They passed on the genes for beat induction. And 50,000 years later, you involuntarily tap your foot to a song you've never heard before, because you are the descendant of every ancestor whose body knew how to say we. There's a third layer to this that almost nobody talks about. Dance was not always recreational. For most of human history, it was functional. Ethnographers studying traditional cultures around the world have documented something striking. In societies without modern warfare technology, groups almost universally performed synchronized movement rituals before conflict. War dances, battle preparations, collective movement before collective action. This wasn't superstition, it was neuroscience before neuroscience existed. The synchronized movement before battle was doing exactly what Wiltermuth's research later confirmed in a laboratory, creating self-other overlap, collapsing the boundary between individual and group, making men more willing to risk their own lives for the person beside them. You don't fight as hard for a stranger as you do for yourself, but if your nervous system has partially merged with that stranger's through hours of synchronized movement, you fight for them the way you fight for yourself. Because for that moment, your brain doesn't fully distinguish between the two. The war dance wasn't a ritual, it was a biological preparation for collective action. A technology for manufacturing the kind of trust and cohesion that usually takes months or years, compressed into a single night of movement. Vorni dana ribantulakan. So here is what dancing actually is. It is a synchrony system, a biological mechanism for rapidly building trust, cohesion, and self-other overlap between members of a group. It is a beat induction response, an evolutionary capacity that exists in humans and almost no other species, built specifically for coordinating group action without language. And it is a neurological preparation tool, a way of aligning individual nervous systems into something that functions more like a single unit. 3 functions, 1 behavior. So universal, so persistent, so deeply embedded in human neurology that no civilization in history has ever lived without it. Dist, Perfii. So the next time you dance alone in your kitchen when nobody is watching. The next time a song comes on and your body starts moving before you decide to. The next time you feel that pull, that almost involuntary shift toward rhythm, and then catch yourself and stop because you think you're being silly. Remember this, that pull is 50,000 years old. It is the same impulse that aligned the nervous systems of your ancestors before the hunts that kept them alive, before the winters that should have killed them but didn't, before the conflicts that required them to be something larger than themselves. Your body knows how to say we. It has always known. It was built to know. The embarrassment is new. The instinct is ancient. And the next time you find yourself in a group of people who are all moving together, at a concert, at a ceremony, anywhere that rhythm pulls a room into synchrony, pay attention to what you feel in your chest. That's not excitement, that's recognition. 300,000 years of survival, telling you, this is what we do. This is how we become something the individual alone could never be. That's what this channel is. Every week, one thing about being human that seems small, or strange, or embarrassing, explained by the hundreds of thousands of years that made it essential.
Yüzdüm orada yağmıştı pipi. Ah bebeğim uyandın gibi. Biraz tipin dağılmış gibi. Ah sarılar vah sarışınlar. Yat esmer kalk sarışınlar. Babayla zor yarışırlar. Babayla zor yarışırlar. Tak 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 tak. Kapıda kim var? Şu anda kutulardayım. Tak.